live from Self Love Lounge. Yeah. My partner Dre. Give me the beat. I'm gonna talk to him. Look. Now as I stand here on my feet, I ask myself, do history repeat? I know it do, but this is deep. From the slaves to the streets, from the cotton to the concrete, you give me Willie Lynch vibes. From that white man you hide, but you would kill me for my fucking ride. That's that envy you can't hide. That's that meet me outside, can let it go cause of your fucking pride. Back in the day, they take two field slaves, turn them against each other, something like the Django days. Whichever one was still alive, that's the one that went. The dead slave, he was gone, you won't see him again. And nowadays, they take two rap niggas, start beef, move out the way, then clap niggas. You better know your weapon good if you aim in sight. And if you kill a kid by accident, you got a night. You niggas so tough and Zimmerman is still around, but you would pay a couple K to knock your brother down. You think that God and evil fake? Until you die and reawaken your soul done made it through them gates of hell, they await you. And everything you ever feared, that's that shit that's gonna take you. And all them demons that you claim, then took the same out your brain. Now it's time for you to feel the flames. You see them demons like the streets. You can praise them all you want, but in the end you meet defeat. Open your eyes to the truth. But most of y'all can't do that cause them lies be just as fake as you. Been spitting facts all my life. Your brain gotta watch for bullets, but your back you gotta watch for knives. Fuck nigga, you need to listen. I'm competing with the old me. You look at me as competition. I never thought I'd see the day when I would get off on this microphone and say this shit I'm about to say. But hey, it need to be said and they like damn right. Got on my knees, prayed to God just the other night. Help me win the fight against my own kind. And if Black Lives Matter, niggas colorblind. They in denial when they hate it when you speaking facts. But a race war ain't the reason why I got the strap. Don't get it fucked up, cause anyone can feel the shell. But not just anyone gonna kill me for my clientele. Folks be seeking all these questions but don't want the answers. The last time we stuck together was the Black Panthers. But since then, it's a block for a block. They get on TikTok and make a song about a dead op. To be a rapper now you need a bulletproof whip. No other genre like this. Now ain't this some shit? You ignorant. Get on the gram, you don't think twice. And make a joke about him fighting for his fucking life. So many of them throw rocks, then they hide their hands. But this reality, not Meta or the Central Land.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. But before we do that, do me a favor. Hit the like button. And if you're new watching this, hit the subscribe. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me, right? So we go get into this. This is a new series I'm planning on starting called Shackled From the Wrist to the Mind. And what I'm saying is that the shackles was released from our wrists because they already put the shackles around our mind, the way we think. And by doing that, they no longer needed to have us in physical shackles because now they had us in shackles with our mind, the way we think. Right? And if you get an opportunity, go into the description of this video. I put a link to the PDF file, the ISIS papers by Frances Cress Wheatland, MD. She break down post-traumatic slave disorder. It's a real powerful book. Like I said, I posted a free link in the description of this video, so please take the opportunity to check that out. So we go get into adversity and how adversity is actually opportunity. By understanding that adversity gives you the opportunity to define or recreate who you are, by accepting that ideology, by practicing that, it can knock out fear. Okay, because a lot of times when we faced with adversity, we become fearful, feel fear of failure, fearful of not completing or not achieving a certain goal. And a lot of times that fear holds us back because we begin to make excuses on why we can't accomplish or achieve something. We start looking things for outside ourselves to blame for preventing us to achieve a goal. Right. And I want to tell y'all a story from one of my mentors. Right. This is a guy I met when I was working in the hospital. And when he first met me, he told me my energy was off. He said he steered away from me because I reminded him of one of them little young boys in the hood who will knock him over his head and take what's in his pocket. But over time, me and him became real cool. And one day I came to work, and I used to work in the OR. So we used to come in our street clothes, get our scrubs from the machine, and then change our clothes. And in the middle of me changing, I usually get there early because I used to wear a vest to work. I had to wear bulletproof. I didn't have to, but I did because I value my life. But I wore a bulletproof vest to work to see, even though I wasn't in the street no more, that don't mean the street was done with me. So it was people who I encountered that they didn't care if I wasn't in the street no more. So I had to protect myself. And when he seen me changing, he seen me putting the vest in my locker. And he asked me, he said, "Why are you wearing that vest to work, man?" And I said, "Because I'm trying to get home." And he said, "Well, change your way of thinking, and maybe you won't have to wear that vest." And I did, because my thought was these people can get me at any time. So that's what I was prepping myself for. And what he was telling me is prep myself for something that I actually want, because I didn't want that, but I knew it can happen. And the closer we got, the more I learned about him. And I learned he was a recovering addict. And he was telling me his story. He was clean. And even though he was clean for over 15 years, he was still going to the meetings because he said, "Look, this is a forever battle." He said, "I still think about it, but I don't do it. This is just something that I had to fight every day." And then a couple years after that, he had cancer. And they gave him the chemo. He got the surgery. And every day I went to work. Before I started, I went to go visit him because, he was in the same hospital we worked at. And every night before I leave, I'll go visit him. And every time I seen him, he told me, "I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger." It's like 2 weeks went past. And when I went to go see him, I seen him that morning. But when I got off work, I went to go see him. He wasn't there. And probably about 2 minutes after I went to his room, was walking away, he called me. And he said, "I tried to wait till you get off to let you know, I'm at home now." And he was like, "I was trying to call you when you entered the room. I wanted you to see, I told you I was getting stronger." So when I went to go visit him after work, I went to his house. And he told me, he said, "I told you I was getting stronger." And he said, "I wasn't afraid to fight cancer." And he said, "Because I've been fighting my whole life." And he said, "I fight every day with my addiction." And he said, "When I got cancer, it gave me the opportunity to understand how strong I was." Because before that, he said he was battling with his addiction. And he didn't know if he was strong enough to overcome it. But he said when he got cancer, that showed him that he was strong, how strong he was. He was able to redefine his strength. A lot of times in life, when we face with obstacles, we look at them as problems. So what I'm telling you is change the way you think. Look at it as an opportunity to overcome something that is unthinkable. And by doing that, I myself got through a lot of dark days. I got through a lot of dark days by looking at it as an opportunity for me to show myself, not even really nobody else, but myself, how strong I am. Fear, in my opinion, is the unknown. The only time I ever feared something is when I didn't know what the outcome could be or would be. But now I understand that when I feel that emotion, that feeling, I simply got to figure it out. Now I get the opportunity to face my fear, to overcome my fear. Opportunity. That's how we got to start looking at adversity. We all go through stuff, and our ancestors been through stuff. I always say the women in my family are strong because I see the obstacles that they overcame. My sister, I want to tell her story so bad, but she want to write a book. But she gonna be mad. I give you a snippet. She got her PhD, and in the middle of it, she had 3 children. Didn't slow her down. Didn't stop her. So not only did she have a challenge to achieve a PhD degree in a pristine university in Michigan, she did it with 3 kids. She had help, but she didn't have a nanny. She didn't have that. She had support. But even I seen people who didn't even attempt, they seen the problem. Instead of even trying, they just gave up. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of times that she wanted to quit, wanted to give up. I know, but she didn't. That wasn't really a choice. It was a thought. It wasn't even a choice. It was a thought. I look at my mother. She had me when I was 16 and then turned around. Blessings, Dominique. And then she turned around, finished high school, went to college, had 2 more kids. Started her family, went back to school, got her master's, got another degree with a family. The obstacles our ancestors had to face during slavery, after slavery. We all gonna be faced with adversity in life. And it's not about how we go through it. It's about how we come out of it. Because even if you don't succeed, you tried it. And if you learn when you try it again, you have more wisdom and knowledge. But if you never try it at all, you'll never know how strong you are, how creative you are. You'll never know. My father always told me that not trying is quitting. Saying can't is that I won't try. He never let me use that word can't. Even if I couldn't do something, he told me, well, you tried it. Do you see any other way you can go about it? And that's the key. We ain't gonna get it right the first time, but if we never try it, we'd never understand how to get it right. And even when you try something and fail at it, you tried it. You tried it. Now you understand it better. Only time you actually fail at something in life is when you choose to fail, when you choose not to learn. That's the only time you really fail in life. No matter if you never achieve a standard or a goal that someone else put, but you tried it, you can't fail as long as you try. The way the way we set up to think, we got to change that because it's not accurate. It's not productive. And a lot of the ideologies we know was given to us, and we don't even question them. We just do it and accept it. And that's because, like I said, when they took them shackles off our wrists, they was already on our minds. They don't have to put physical chains on you no more because they control the way you think. The way we think has to be productive, not destructive. We were taught when we don't achieve something, we fail. And when you even think about failure, it don't feel good. No one wants to feel that. So you stop trying and you accept it. But that's not what it's supposed to do. Failure is supposed to teach you. When you don't achieve something, it's supposed to make you desire it even more. The first time a slave ran away, I'm pretty sure they didn't get away. And if all the other slaves looked at it and said there's no point, honestly, we might still be in chains. But see, the more slaves, the we didn't get freed. They didn't come up with these other techniques because they wanted us. They couldn't control us. We kept getting away, so they had to figure something out. We didn't get freed because the North felt bad. Because if that's the case, why didn't they send help? It took what 3 to 5 years for all slaves to understand they was free. No, they went down there, fought them battles, freed the slaves. I'm doing quotes, and just left them with no resources, no support. They just told them y'all free. So what they supposed to do? Where they supposed to go? We we get told so much. If you want to know why they did that, it was because the South had free labor and they was imposing on the wealth of the North because the North had to pay people. So now the South rising up, they got their economic system was growing, and the North didn't like that. So they had to take the free labor away. And when they did that, they still gave the slave owners $300 per slave they freed. So the slave owners got reparations. I could point you to that information too. That's why the slaves got freed, not because they felt bad. That was a war between Europeans. They ain't have nothing. The reason we got freed because it benefited the North for the South not to have free labor. Because if that's the case, like I said, why didn't they give no type of resources, no type of support? They didn't even make sure all the slaves was freed. That's why we got Juneteenth. The information that we are given is given to us for a reason. We got to start thinking for ourselves. That whole concept of thinking outside the box, that was said because the box that you thinking inside is created and given to you. That wasn't said. That wasn't said for you to be an intellectual or creative thinker. That was literally cold. That was cold. That whole concept. If we, like I said, given the opportunity to redefine yourself, to change something that you don't like, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be challenging. But that's what gives you the understanding and the strength that you up for it. If it was easy, how can you redefine yourself? It's easy. How can you say I am strong? And I've been through some things in life, and the things I've been through in the early stages of my life prepared me for what I'm going through now in my life. Now when I go through it, I understand it. But if I'd never been through those things early in life, I probably will fold. Because I would have never had the opportunity to understand that this is an opportunity. You know, we all like to think that we're strong. We all like to think that we're intelligent. We all like to think that we're brave. But unless it's tested, how can we truly say that? If you never been in a battle, how can you say you brave? If we talking about physically strong, if you never lifted something heavy, how would you know? If we're talking about mentally, you know, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. You know, I have my mother and my father. I am truly blessed. But my wife don't. Within the last 3 years, she lost both of them. But every day she get up, she makes sure I'm good. She makes sure the kids good, and she handle business. I don't know how she do it. She cry. We talk. But she handle business. She miss them every day because she tell me. But she moves forward. And she always say, well, I miss them, but I got my family here. I got you. I got our kids. I got to keep going. And she say, I'm trying to be strong. And I'm looking at her like, I don't know how you do it. Because I know how I feel about my parents. And if something happened to either one of them, it will crush me. I've been through some shit, but I ain't been through that. Excuse my French. I ain't been through that. And I know how much her parents meant to her. How much they still do. And honestly, I don't even know how to comfort her. I just try to be there. But you can never tell because the girl always smiles. She always laugh, always happy. But when she by herself, she cry. And she said, I'm not strong enough. And I said, look at your actions. Look at what you're doing. You redefining, recreating what strength is to me. I've lost people I love. My grandmother, that hurted me. But like I said, I got my mother and my father. I got my sisters. I got all my brothers. I got everything. Nothing has been taken away from me like that. So even sometimes the little things that we might not think about that we just know we have to do, you redefining yourself all the time. Even the little things. And that's not little. But I'm saying that's something everybody go through. Everyone has to eventually go through. Because we not here forever. We not. But when it happens, you have the opportunity. And a lot we don't think about that. I've known people who lost a parent and they couldn't take it. And they didn't want to be here. And they're not here. But then, like I said, I look at my wife. And I'm pretty sure we all got examples that we never really thought about. Losing anybody and having the strength going forward. You building yourself. And we do this because we supposed to. That's just what it is. So imagine if you were aware of every time something happens in life that wants to make you fold, that you get up and keep moving. And you're aware of that. And you understand it's making you stronger. You take that confidence out anytime you encounter with anything. We do stuff and not know we do it all the time. Hey, Miss Queen. And Dominique, honestly, even this, a woman giving birth to a child, this is why I look at women as superheroes. And my baby girl. It's time for her to eat. Time for her to eat. But even women, right? If you think about women giving birth to a child, y'all women carry babies for 9 months. And if you vaginal deliver or if you C-section, the strain your body go through, then you bounce back. And when you bounce back, you start nurturing this child, growing this child. That's strength. Men can't do that. Naturally, women are built to overcome adversity. Waking up every day, how tired you are, getting your kids ready for school, cooking, cleaning, going to work, coming home, taking care of the family. Women redefine strength every day. The normal adversities y'all go through. I always looked at my mother like a superwoman because I didn't understand how she did it. Now I look at my sisters as the same. But we take that for granted. Men. I mean, I look at my wife and I'm like, man, I can't do all that. So I try to be a support to her. But that's taken for granted. Even now, we look back, men, a lot of men look back at their moms, their sisters, their grandma, and that's where we draw strength from because we remember the things that y'all did and overcame. And we look like we come from there. I know at least I do. That's why I pay homage. Judge Joe Brown, he said, what he said was true. We do need to start paying homage to the fathers too. But he had a question. Why in our society we always pay homage to the woman? And I wanted to tell him that's because we watch the women overcome adversity. We watch the women sacrifice. Like I said, not everybody had their father growing up, but most people had their mother, and that's who we watch. That's who made the sacrifices. So when we encounter things, we draw strength from our mothers. I know I do. The women are downplayed, but women are the best examples of what I'm talking about right now. And they do it unconsciously. It's just naturally done. They don't think twice about it. But we have been trained to think that salute bro Nate, hey big bro Nate in the house. Hey bro, I was still listening to your show in my earpod while I was doing this. Most people take the glue for granted. Yep, such is life. Hey, I'm gonna drop the link because I know Miss Queen. Um, I'm I'm always I'm always blessed when Miss Queen take the panel, but anybody can hit the link. But I do I'm always give flowers up to the women because in my opinion, and like I said, in my opinion, I think women define strength in many different ways. But when talking about adversity, this is the best example I can give. I can tell you stories, but I'm talking about everyday life where we all can see. It's women, it's mothers, you know, like Miss Queen said, mothers are the glue. But it's how we look at it too. We look at it like they supposed to do it instead of looking at it like look at what they're doing. We don't give enough credit. Oh, bet Queen, bet Dominique too. If you want to hit this link, I don't know if my sister go hit it, but if you want to hit the link too, because like I said, we all been through stuff. We all get stories, But what I'm trying to say is the way we look at things. Adversity is not it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity to define ourselves, to recreate ourselves. Like my boy, he was an addict back in the day. Did some stuff that he won't even talk about to this day, but he overcame it and he used it for strength because that's why I understood the concept of my past gives me calluses. I'm trying to say it exactly how he said it. The past gives us calluses, so the problems in the future will be bearable. And when he said that, I understood. Your good knees short. I don't even want to know what that short is about. I'm gonna go check it out. That's my YouTube homie, man. Miss Queen, Nate. I mean, they showed so much love. Like I've made this platform to build with people, and running into these two has been a blessing. Honestly, you know, Nate, that brother, he gonna make you think. He gonna make you laugh, and he made me dance tonight. I had to put the baby down to do the Harlem Shake. I really did. I'm not lying. Joe, he had me in here pop blocking, man. I didn't know if my bones could take it, but good vibes though. That's what life is about. I'm gonna talk about the mindset. I'm gonna talk about things I think we need to talk about, but I want to start bringing joy too. I want to create an atmosphere where you either think or laugh, or think and just have fun in general. We got enough drama. We got enough chaos in the world. Sometimes it's good to have places to go just to feel good or to build or to grow. You know, like I said, the panel is always open because I think everybody has something to offer. We all have experiences in life. And the thing about experiences in life, like I said, is an opportunity. And if we take those opportunities to learn, like I said, even if you don't achieve the goal you set out to do, learn something on the way, because if you try it again, now you get more tools in the toolbox. But if you don't, you can still give insight to someone else coming up behind you. That happened with me. You know, being It's things in life that I wanted to do. When I was younger, even though I ran the street, I wanted to be an FBI. I wanted to be a sheriff or FBI agent. And now my young buck get the opportunity to become an FBI agent. And just telling him some of the things he couldn't do, some of the things that he had to stay away from, helped him to achieve this opportunity. You know, failure, like I said, is failure is a mindset. Failure is a thought, and that's a lower vibration thought, and it was created to make you not try. It was created to make you give up. It was created to make you feel inadequate. You don't need it. Get rid of it, and you can replace it with this: a lesson. You learn. You learn. We got to change the way we think, and a lot of that is with words, with ideas. I'm not teaching my kid they failed at something. I'm teaching my kid to learn from your mistakes and try it again. Imagine if our kids don't understand what failure is. The only thing they knew is when they don't accomplish something, to learn from what they did wrong and what they could have did right and try it again. And even when they do achieve it, what did you learn? Imagine if that's how we trained our kids. We got to get rid of the programming that was given to us. The programming was to make us feel less than what we are. That's what the programming was done, is to make us feel less than what we are. Because we got kinky hair. They call it nappy. No, not telling you. Your kinky hair protects you. The kinkier your hair is, the more protection you got from the sun. Straight hair, no, they scalps burn. Our skin tone, dark is ugly. No, the darker you are, the more sun you can absorb. They make ourselves feel less about ourselves, but they do things to try to make them us. Why go tanning? If you got straight hair, why are you putting braids in it? You laughed at women with big butts, but now you're getting butt implants, lip implants. They even start stretching their earlobes. You make us hate us, but you want to look like us. You want to be us. That's the trick. They make us hate us so they can be us. They take our styles, our arts, our music. We gotta stop being fooled so easily. We gotta stop. We gotta think for ourselves. We gotta make common sense common again. And it's not hard. It's not hard. If something don't if something don't seem right, look into it. Just look into it. Put yourself around people who do it or who know about it. But just ignoring it, just continue doing the same things that don't get you nowhere, making excuses. Challenge yourself with that in itself. Instead of making excuses, try to find a solution. If something don't work, figure out why it didn't work.
I need a bottle.
You need a bottle? Give me 1 second. I'm on daddy duty 24/7. Ain't nothing more important than my baby. That's why we do what we do. Yeah, but adversity, it just gives us the opportunity. That's it. And without the adversity, like I said, we'd never be able to redefine ourselves. You know, we always want to be better than we were the day before. Always. We always challenges. Any challenge in life is simply an opportunity. And some things as you go through it, it's gonna be hard to see it that way. I'm not gonna lie. Because like I said, it took me months to understand that me losing my sight wasn't the end of my life. Because a lot of the things I'm into, not only do I need my sight, but having a shunt, a tube in my head, that makes me vulnerable. I used to put my head through walls. I used to think I was invincible.
I know, baby. I know. Okay.
But that in itself, having this tube in my head, I understood now I am vulnerable. If someone wanted to attack me, they just had to go for my shunt. And by me not being able to see, I can't defend myself the way I used to. And it took me months to understand that, yeah, I done lost a lot. I lost it. But I've been through worse. And I always found a way. And I got enough skills, I got enough knowledge to create. I'm not going to say to create. No, not yet.
Okay, baby. Okay.
But I got enough skills and knowledge to adapt. And that's what I did. You know, give me 1 second. Let me get my daughter's bottle. Yeah, baby girl ain't playing that. She hungry. She want to eat now. Yeah, but like I was saying, it took me some months to realize, like, to even want to try to adapt. You know, so what I'm saying is not just something that instantly you're aware of, but what I'm telling you is use it as an affirmation. When you're going through something, tell yourself it's an opportunity because to change the way you think, you got to replace something old with something new. And like I said, it took me months to understand, okay, just simply adapt. Simply adapt. You understand your weaknesses. So add things. Add things to to counteract your weaknesses. And that's what I did. Now when I train, I understand I have very poor sight. So I train more close combat now. I studied Wing Chun for 4 years. Now I use that as the primary ideology. Because as long as you're close and I can put my hands on you, it's a problem. It's a problem. And I can't tell you what's in my cane, but just know don't run up. It's things that I did to give me the confidence. I replaced the insecurity and found a tool to build the confidence. That's how I replaced the insecurities that I had. The lack of vision, the fact that I got a tube in my head. Okay, I got a tube in my head, but what can I use to keep people away from it? And I did that. Like I said, if you look at it as an opportunity, you'll find ways to achieve. You'll find ways to overcome it. But when you look at it as a failure, you give up. You don't even try. You don't even try. And we have to build each other up too. We have to remind one another how strong we are, or how strong we can be. If everybody feel weak at some point in time in your life, you go feel like that. You'll go through something and you go feel that. But like I said, I'm blessed to always have people around me telling me how strong I am. And if you have that, you understand how powerful that is. So try to be that for people too. That's why I said we got to build one another up. Even when you see somebody doing good, let them know you see them. Let them know you see them. The stronger my sister is, the stronger we are as a family. The stronger I am, the stronger we are as a family. So let's start building each other up. Let's start congratulating one another. Let's start supporting one another more. Because doing that, when we are faced with adversity, it'll make that much more easier to overcome it. That's why we get fans at sports events, people cheering them on. We got to be each other fans. Because like I said, everybody go through stuff. It's just easier to go through it with somebody. It's things in life that we lost like communities, the village. We don't really have that no more. But if you ever was a part of a community or a village, you understand how powerful that was. So just because it's not here, don't mean we can't recreate it. That don't mean we can't recreate it. That don't mean we can't have it because we understand how powerful it is. Because when we going through stuff, it's just easier to go through it with other people. You know, there's so much stuff that's been done to us where we don't trust one another no more. And even by thinking that way, that's part of the shackle of the mind mentality. That's why they took them shackles off the wrist because they knew that they wouldn't go get together. They put distrust between us generations ago. If you weren't here at the beginning of this video, please take the opportunity to go to the description and download the PDF, the ISIS papers. It's a free PDF. You can click on the link and download it because it talks a lot about post-traumatic slave disorder and the effects that are really being amplified today. That was the number one thing they did was put distrust in between us. And the generations that still had it, they gone now. And what went with them was the whole understanding of the community, the village. And now it's us. And we talk about what used to be instead of what we can recreate. Because most of us came up in that. And if we knew how good it was for us, why are we not trying to rebuild it? Because we also the generation they put the most distrust in. We afraid to trust one another. Because we know if we get a group of us, it's going to be a couple people in that group just dare to tear it down. So why even do it? And that's exactly what they want. That's how the program works. That's how the program works. That's why I said the shackles are off the wrist, not in the mind. So if we know that if we get a group of us together and there's going to be somebody there just to tear it down, why not put things in place to prevent that? Well, they tried it again. Okay, so let's learn from their mistakes and try it again. We can learn from the mistakes of the Black Panthers because we got the facts now. We know what happened. We know why it failed. So why not learn from it? We learned the mistakes that happened with the family. So why not learn from it and move forward with it? That's adversity. Us coming together, that's adversity. So why not take it as an opportunity? Why not take it as an opportunity? Why not look at the things that went wrong and fix them? I mean, I look at the mistakes of my mother and father, and I just simply fix what they told me or showed me they did wrong or what I seen to have a better relationship with my wife. You know, I didn't look at it as, oh, they failed, so I don't even want to try it. No, I said, okay, what did they do wrong? This what went wrong. Okay, so now I know. That's what the past, that's what we supposed to do with the past, is to learn from it. to learn from the mistakes, to fix them. That's how we know how things work. You figure out better how things work when they break or when it's broken than you would if it never did. Especially relationships. If you was in a relationship and you cheated on the woman and she left you, and you get in a relationship with another woman and you cheat on them again, you go get the same result. But if you see you cheated and she left you and you don't cheat again in your next relationship, you fix part of the problem. And Monique, the best experience in life is the best teacher in life is life itself, is learning, doing. Even think about this, even when you go to school, right? You learn from the book, but until you get in the field, you don't really know nothing until you get that experience. And a lot of that experience comes through failing, doing something wrong to know what to do right. But every time you fail at something, if you look at it as a failure instead of a learning opportunity, then that's exactly what you go get. And then at some point, you're not even going to want to try no more. I got a buddy. He tried to do 6 or 7 different things and failed. And every time he failed, he go to the next thing. We did real estate together, and he failed the state test by 3 questions. Never tried it again. And I said, bro, why don't you just study a little harder? Learn the information more. Nah, I'm okay. So you gonna keep trying stuff and not. Well, I don't like the way it feel when I fail. So, but you keep trying stuff and failing. You didn't take the opportunity to prove to yourself that you was good enough. Because every time you fail, you just run away. And it's a pattern. That's a pattern. And like I said, we all have past. If you doing something different today than you did yesterday, that's growth. I'm not in the street. I don't even want to be by the street. I call myself a sidewalk dude. I learned from that. And I move forward. But at some point, I understand somebody go say something about my past and try to make me feel like I'm still that same person. And I know I'm not. But if I didn't go through and do the things that I did, I wouldn't understand what I do today. So I'm not ashamed of my past. But people will try to shame you with your past. And that in itself, I never understood. If you're doing the same thing, then yeah. But if you made mistakes and learn from them and move forward, that's the adversity. And don't let nobody shame you. Don't let nobody shame you. We all got past. But if that past made us a better person, and I'm sorry, that's sickening to me when people do that. Like I said, if the person is still doing the same thing, still making the same mistakes, I understand. That's understandable, yeah. But if a person has grown from it, moved on, and it made them a better person, a stronger person, why try to use that against people? Like, what sense do that make anyway? Talking about somebody did in the past if they're not doing it in the present. Talk about what they're doing now. But see, sometimes you can't. You can't talk about the person has become, so you try to take them back. But you run into the right person. They understand that that's why they did it. They went through all that to become what they are now. And shout out to Miss 504 because I think she amplifies what I'm saying. She came on this YouTube and told you everything about her because she understands that all that stuff she been through made her what she is now. And like I said, women are the greatest examples of what I'm saying today. And shout out to Miss 504 again, because just thinking about when I was talking about my wife losing her parents, she lost her son. She lost her son. And it made her a stronger person. She used that pain and turned it into strength. She goes out and tells her story and she inspires people. She talks about when she was addicted. She tells you stories about what her addiction did. And then she tells you the lessons that she learned. And then you listen to her, you understand that if she never went through none of that, we wouldn't get the product that we had today. We wouldn't have the Miss 504. But she learned, and she's not ashamed of nothing. And she put all her business out there. That's a gift. Because a lot of people ain't going to do that. But that's a gift. A gift to us. Anybody willing to listen. Because it shows you that you can go through some stuff and overcome it. And she went through some stuff. It is inspirational and it's powerful. And like I said, women amplify the title. Because us men, we got stories. You know, I can tell you my pop's story, but that's his story to tell. But for some reason, it's always the women. Maybe because they're natural nurturers. Maybe it's the women that let their stories be public and seen because they understand their story is a form of nurture. Them showing their strength is a form of nurture. It's showing us we came from the womb. The womb man, that's where we all men come from. So if that womb is strong, it's only going to produce strength. It's only going to produce strength. That's why I tell people you can't have a king unless it came from a queen. So even though I understand what Judge Joe Brown was saying, this is why we raise our women up. The African Trinity was the mother, the father, and the son. If we, I don't want to get into the spiritual or religious stuff, but if we don't understand what the woman is, we gonna continue down the path we on. We gonna continue down. You know, I pay homage to my mother and my father, but I understand the significance of both of them. And that's why I say I pay homage to both. Because without either one of them, I wouldn't be here. But I'm not going not put my mother in her proper place. I'm not going to do that. And this society has a way of devaluing women. And it's for a reason. It's for a reason. And we we got to understand. We need to put women back in their proper place. And in my opinion, I think men and women were created to cooperate with one another. I don't think one is above the other. We all have significant but important roles. But if we try to dominate our women, if we think as men we're supposed to dominate women, well, we see where that where we at. That's not our way of thinking. That was given to us. That's part of the mind shackles. The original video that I wanted to do was the exploitation of black women. When I started this, but I had a powerful talk with my father, and he inspired me to do this video. But either today or tomorrow, we're going to talk about the exploitation of black women because it's deep. It's deep and it's for a reason. It's for a reason they want you to look down on women, especially black women. And if we don't wake up, it's going to get worse. If you got kids, and this is, I'm being biased right now because I got my baby girl. I got my little boy. But if you got kids, just think about this. They got to come up in a world that's worse than what we did. That's what we handing to them. So if we don't begin to make the changes, it's going to be worse than what it was when we came up. And I know I went through hell coming up. I don't want that for my kids. I can protect them while they're in this house, but they got to go out into that world too. They got to deal with the same issues and problems that I did, but it's going to be worse. And so the longer that we distracted, the longer we not communicating, learning from one another, trying to find a way to come together. We just simply say we can't do it instead of talk about ways we can. What can we establish? What standards can we create? So that way people feel comfortable trusting people to look like them again. We don't talk about that. I'm willing, if you telling me for me to work with another brother, I gotta exhibit this. I gotta practice this. I'm gonna be willing to do it. Not only for me, but for the future. Everybody ain't gonna do it. But the ones who will, why not build with them? If we gotta put things in place for us to be able to trust and work together to overcome the same problems, we all suffer from similar issues. And like I said, it's easier to go through stuff with people than without. So if we can honestly create a standard that we have to live up to work with one another, why not try it? Like I said, we don't even have these conversations. We just simply say, oh no, black people never come together because we to this, to that. Okay, we understand that. We can name reasons why we don't do it. So we can name the reasons why we can't attack those reasons with solutions and fix those problems. And the ones willing to do it, let's rock. Because, eventually, we're going to have to do something. We can't just keep talking. But that's part of the problem. We don't even talk about it. We're talking about the wrong things. We talk about things that separate us, like religion, politics, even sports. I'm in Detroit. It was a couple years ago. This brother shot another brother because they was arguing over who made the best Kool-Aid. So we find reasons to separate. Let's start talking about reasons to come together, ways to come together, standards. Let's start talking about that. We got enough reasons to keep separated. But if we actually will make an impact for the future, like what generation is supposed to spark it off? Are we supposed to wait for the elders? I mean, I'm being no disrespect, but some of the elders are being led or acting like the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds. That's what some of the elders do. Some of the elders are trying to live back in their youth. They're trying to recapture their youth. I mean, we gonna talk to my generation. My generation do the same thing too. They still trying to be young. They trying to prove they not getting older. We can't leave it up to the youth. They running around crazy. A lot of us are in our cotton picking minds. We thinking like they created us to think. We still think like slaves. That's why we compete against one another. We in our cotton picking minds. It's a good thing to be out of it. Get out of your cotton picking mind. Because guess what? All these other races, they stick together. It's other races telling us we can take over the world if we stick together. I seen it on social media. Is a Chinese dude said it. Mexican people say it. Like, man, if y'all stuck together, work together like we do, y'all be some bad MFers. All these other races know that, but we don't. We can say we do, but like I said, when do we have these conversations? Like we had conversations on how to expose one another, how to tear one another down, but we don't have conversations on how to build each other up. We don't have those conversations. When I go in Nate chat, we do. When I go in Miss Queen chat, we do. We had those conversations on some YouTubes. Hey, share your link. Matter of fact, I don't care if you're a mod or not. Put your link in the chat. If you're watching from the bushes and you got a channel, put your link in the chat. Anytime you come in my house, just say hello and drop your link. And if you're in here, please click on it and subscribe. We got to start supporting one another. We got to stop thinking that we after one another. We trying to hurt one another. Like I said, if we got to put standards, if we got to put rules together, rules of operation, let's do it. But let's do something. We ain't getting no younger. You know, I mean, so at some point, like I said, change has to be, at least the spark of change has to be made. You know, at some point, we will actually have to start looking at things that don't matter and getting rid of them. The whole concept of failure, let's get rid of it. And we can replace it with learning opportunity. Let's replace it with that. Let's get rid of things we don't need, that don't help us, that we don't benefit from. Let's get rid of the whole ideology and start replacing it with things that can make us productive, make us at least hopeful. But we got to do something. I'm going to drop the link if anybody want to come up. Please feel free to hit it. If you have anything to add or subtract, you know, if I said something wrong, like I said, or if you got a better understanding and can add to it, or if you feel I said something wrong, I'm always open to correction. I'd rather know what's right than keep doing what's wrong. So like I said, please feel free to hit the link. But these are conversations we need to have. We need to look at problems and start finding solutions instead of excuses. Because us not being able to come together, I'm sorry. That shit, it sounds crazy. If we know what's preventing us from coming together, let's find ways to fix it. If we don't trust one another, let's put standards there that will build trust. Uh-oh. You looking for mommy? My son then woke up, so I might be ending that. You want to say hello? You don't want to say hello? You want to go back night-night? What you want? Yeah, but I just want y'all to think about that. Let's start having conversations about solutions. Let's talk about what's wrong and how to fix it. What measures or what steps we can take to remedy it. Let's start having these conversations. But this is going to be a series I'm starting. The next video for this one, or the next talk conversation I'm going to have on this, is exploitations of Black women. And I hope and pray that I get some women on here to give their insight and give their opinion. Which one? Not that one. You want to hit a button? Hold on, my son want to hit a button. But that's going to be the next one. And I hope that some women hit the panel and give their insight on how they think Black women are being exploited. Oh, Danny throat. Oh, you want to hit laugh? Go ahead, hit that. You can't hear it. I got the headphones on. Okay, hold on. Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead. But the link is there. If no one wants to come up and add, or like I said, if I said something wrong, subtract. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. But I just want y'all to remember, adversity, challenges in life are opportunities to recreate or redefine ourselves. It's to show ourselves how strong. I can have it back now. It's to. What are you pushing? You can push that. Okay, yeah. Hey, Leticia. Yeah, Leticia, I think I was just talking about how to use adversity as an opportunity to show strength, to even show our intelligence. If we don't, is a test. They call it trials and tribulations in the Bible. Adversity is just simply an opportunity to show how much we've grown. It can show how strong our inner strength, how really strong we are. And I said the primary example in this are women, even simply giving birth.
Come on.
Even simply women giving birth. Like I look at my wife.
You hold her for a second.
Yeah, she's taking care of my baby.
Oh, she spit up. Hold on.
She spit up.
Hold on.
Hey, little mama. You look drunk. Yeah, I was just Leticia is I was just saying how adversity is opportunity to redefine ourselves, and I use Miss 504 as an example. Her just telling her story, how showing us how she overcame all her trials and tribulations and how it redefined her to who she is now. She even told us a story about how she used to play victim, the effects of it, and when she stopped doing it, the power she gained. So that's why I say, women, you can't pull me, baby. I got the baby. Okay, I'm about to come. I promise you. But I was just saying how women amplify this message that I'm making. Just a common woman, just giving birth, 9 months of pregnancy, something growing in you, giving birth to it, nurturing it when it come out. That in itself, we look at it as normal. We take it for granted, but those are examples that we can use to find strength. That's why, like in the Black family, a lot of us watch our mothers and grandmothers go through some trying times and overcame it. And as we get older and we look for that inner strength, these are the people who we remember. I look back at my mother, I look at my sister, and I always wonder, how did they do it? But then when I'm going through stuff, I look at them and I get strength because I come from that. So I know I can do it. And that's on top of me using my own examples of what I overcame. But in those moments, that's what I look for strength for. But I'm back on daddy duty. So I'm gonna end this live, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna put in a community post, but I would really appreciate if I can get some of the women to come up and talk a little bit about their either understanding or just give insight on the topic of the exploitation of Black women. I'm gonna give a little brief history about how it was done in slave time and how it's done now. Because I think I think it's a way that the system used. I think is a tool the system used to devalue women, especially Black women. So I think that needs to be talked about, even if it bring more awareness to it, and we can have a better understanding. Because anything we put energy into, they go utilize it as a weapon against us. They create stuff, we put energy into it, and they weaponize it against us. So, and I think that's one of the major tools they use, especially for the Black community, to draw a wedge in between the man and the woman, is to exploit the woman. And it's done on many different ways and many different levels. But from what I can talk, by me being a man, I think is the over-sexualization of women. If you get a man to look at a woman just as a sex object, like I say, you done devalued her. You no longer look at none of the other aspects of the woman. And we see that in movies, we see it, we hear it in music. I'm not saying that I'm not saying if a woman looks at herself as sexy is bad, but what I'm saying is men looking at women as a sex objects, like thinking that's their main value. I think that has other ramifications on how we interact. So that I want to get into. So if there's any women who, like I said, is interested, I'm gonna put a community post up, give you a time, and just let me know if you can hit the panel. But that's all I got right now. I might pop on a little later after I put these kids to sleep. My son just woke up too, and then I got the baby and my wife. I gotta let her get some rest. So let me put the family back to sleep. And I just probably pop up and just have a general conversation. But do me a favor, if you just came in the building, hit the like for me. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me. And if I say anything that resonates with you, do me a favor, share it. Help me spread the word. And I always say conversations build nations. So let's start talking about it. Yeah, go hit it. You go to YouTube? Well, that's all I got, man. I'm out. Baby, you gotta go back to sleep. It's nighttime.